Here's the notes over more square root practice. I normally in class would let my kids try A, B, and then we'd check them C, D, and then check them E, F, and then check them. We'd kind of work it through and clear up any points that they're confused on. So if I were you, if you're taking these notes, I'd try A and B first, see if you can do it, and then watch me do A and B. I'm going to just work straight through, so whenever you need to pause it, okay? Square root of 27. I'm going to zoom in a little bit here. Ooh. All right, the square root of 27 you can break up into 9 and 3. Square root of 9 times the square root of 3. I know the square root of 9 is 3, so my answer, the square root of 3 is messy, so I'm going to leave it that. The square root of 27 simplified is 3 square roots of 3. Next thing I'm going to look at is 98. I'm saying what would go into 98. Now, if it's a bigger number, what I like to do is think about my perfect squared numbers and see, do I have any of these numbers that go into 98? If you're not super quick with your multiplication tables or dividing bigger numbers, you can use a calculator. In 98, I see that 49 will go into 98 twice. So the square root of 49 times the square root of 2 is the square root of 98. We're going to save 3 to be part of our answer for later. I know the square root of 49 is 7. Square root of 2 is not pretty. So 3 times 7, 21 square roots of 2. Here's your answer for that one. On C, the square root of 48, okay? A lot of times I'll have students say 4 times 12 is 48. We can take the square root of 4, so we could do that. Is there another number that goes into 48 that's bigger, that's a perfect square? So I look at my list of perfect squares, and I recognize that 16 goes into 48. How many times does 16 go into 48? 3 times. So the square root of 16 is 4. The square root of 3 is the square root of 3. And we're done there. Okay. Here's the next one, 63. 2 factors of 63, one of which that I can take the square root of. So I think, oh, the square root of 9 times the square root of 7. 9 times 7 is 63. We save that 5 to be part of our answer. The square root of 9 is 3. The square root of 7 is messy. 5 times 3 is 15. Square roots of 7. There's your answer. Questions there? Too bad you can't ask me, huh? And we're moving on. Here we go. When you're doing variables, I said in my earlier video, have variables, since you're taking the square root, we're going to divide by 2. If you were taking the cube root, the trick would be divide by 3. If you're taking the fourth root, the trick would be divide by 4. So here we have x to the 7th. 7 divided by 2. 2 goes into 7 3 times. 3 times with a 1 remainder. Okay, so we have x cubed out front, and we have 1x left in the square root. How many times does 2 go into 3? It goes in once with 1 remainder. We're done. Next one. Square root of x squared y to the 5th. How many times does 2 go into x squared? Or how many times does 2 go into 2? It goes in once with no remainder, so you have no x's left in there. How many times does 2 go into 5? It goes in twice with 1 remainder. Okay. The next one, you're looking at how many times does 2 go into 17? 2 goes into 17 8 times with 1 remainder, so you have x to the 8th left out here and 1 remaining inside. Then how many times does 2 go into 10? 5 times, so you have a y to the 5th out front with no remainders. So we have an x to the 8th, y to the 5th times the square root of x. The last one, how many times does 2 go into 4? It goes in twice with no remainders. How many times does 2 go into 12? It goes in 6 times with no remainders. Since I had no remainders, I no longer have to worry about a square root. Questions? Here we go. When I'm doing square root of numbers and variables, I break apart the number into the 2 factors, one of which hoping I can take the square root of. 4 times 10 is 40. I can take the square root of 4. And I'm going to write my variables, the square root of x to the 5th, y to the 7th. Square root of 4 is 2. The square root of 10 is messy. 2 goes into 5 2 times with 1 remainder. And 2 goes into 7 3 times, so y to the 3rd with 1 remainder. Then you combine everything that is outside of your square root. So I have 2x squared y cubed. And then you combine everything that's underneath the square root, so 10xy. Look at this last one. You have a number out in front, and you save it to be part of your answer. We're going to break up 99. The square root of 9 times the square root of 11 will give me the square root of 99. Then I have the square root of x to the 6th, y to the 9th. The square root of 9 is 3. The square root of 11 is irrational. It's messy. How many times does 2 go into 6? 3 times with no remainders. How many times does 2 go into 9? 4 times with 1 remainder. So everything outside of the square root I get to combine. 9 times 3 is 27. I'll have this x cubed y to the 4th. And then what's left inside my square root? An 11y. Happy simplifying.